Hey, it's flannel season here at Kansas Troubles. I'm Lynn Hagmeyer. Today we're going to talk about our flannel season leaf blocks. Last week I posted a video on a few tips on how to work with flannel, and we'll talk more about that today too. Today is all about half square triangles. Now, keeping in mind that flannel is a little bit thicker and a little bit squishier, meaning that it is going to slide a little bit, and it is a stretchier fabric just because of the way it's manufactured. It doesn't have as many threads per inch to make it softer, and because it's brushed, it can scooch on you a little bit. But also the weight of it, just the thickness, I have adjusted my stitching just a hair. So to make half square triangles, I drew my line diagonally, and then I did a scant 1/4 inch on each side of the drawn line. For me, that means lining up the toe of my 1/4 inch foot pretty much on my drawn line, going both directions, and that gives you a narrower seam allowance, but it also gives you a little bit extra to trim so that those 4.5 inch trim squares are perfect and go together beautifully, like I have here. So you can see how this kind of fades from the reds to pumpkins to golds to greens and browns. It's very color specific, and we only have a limited amount of fabric in our layer cakes. So I have actually laid it all out for you in the cutting instructions. It tells you exactly which layer cakes to pull, how many 5-inch squares to cut from each one, and you'll have the perfect number to do your leaf. Now it says here to cut, in the instructions it says to cut your half square triangle 5-inch squares in half diagonally and then pair them up with the required either the tan background or like the gold and green or the red and pumpkin. That's not necessary because we're doing 2 identical leaves. So unless you want to mix up your prints and the colors in the second leaf, don't cut the squares in half. Just go ahead, divide them though. When you cut them in half, make one pile for one leaf and one pile for the other leaf, and you'll come out just fine. This was so fast and easy. I'm absolutely thinking I'm going to do 2 more leaves and do a lap size quilt just with the 4 leaves as it shows in your booklet. You have that option as well. So once you have your half square triangles trimmed and laid out in the color order, there's a really good diagram on page 3 that shows you exactly where every color goes. I put it on my ironing board next to my sewing machine, laid my blocks out, sewed them in horizontal rows. You can do the top 2 rows, sew on the tan on the side, sew your center row together, do the same down on the bottom, sew the bottom 2, and then you get to your stem. So the stem is just brown, about a 3/8 to 1/2 inch. I trimmed my 1/2 inch down to 3/8 because I thought the 1/2 inch was a little fat that it says in the instructions, but visually whatever you feel like is good for you, go for it. So I just fused this strip on and then top stitched with brown thread. That way it's all ready to go. And when we put this in our seam allowance, this little corner, then you don't have to mess with trying to top stitch around that. So our leaf comes out 20.5 inches square. I found pressing alternating rows in opposite directions for opposing seams is critical for flannel. It really is important to have those nesting seams because it is a little more bulky, but using my Material Magic again, as I'm pressing the seams and pressing the overall block, along with my clapper when I needed it, it came out great, and it was a fun afternoon project. So let me know how you're getting along. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you next week, and we'll talk about the pumpkin blocks, and we'll get the center of this quilt finished. Talk to you soon.